In one of my earliest videos, go ahead and check out the link in the description, I talked about why you should not use observable objects with published variables because of rendering issues, and you should actually use the observation framework with observable. But actually, I did not tell you what to do if you actually need to use support. You need to use published variables and observable object. And also, I kind of missed a problem with observable, which we are going to cover today. So if you like these tutorials, go ahead. Also check out Rebeloper.com, where you can meet a one-on-one Zoom call with me. So today I'm going to just simply give you how to use observable objects in an encapsulated way, in a proper way. So it's not re-rendering everything or re-triggering everything. So if you're going to take a look at the previous video, I talked about so here is our view model with the observable object. And we have these two published variables. So whenever count changes, it's just going to trigger also text. And whichever view text is linked to, bind it to, and just going to re-render it. In our case, let me just scroll down over here. Here is our count. We are just bumping it up, and text is binded to our text field. And also we have a random on the background. So whenever I tap on this button right over here, it's just going to re-render the whole view, which is not what we want, of course. And therefore we get this random background. The same goes if I also change the text inside the text field. Now, and this is really bad, right? So what I forgot to tell you is that if you are going to set your observable, observable as an environment and grab it as a bindable and then access it the same way, the text binded over here and the count is bumped up over here, the same problem will occur. As you can see, if I just tap over here, the background color changes. And if I just added the text right over here, it's just going to change the background, which means that it's going to re-render, which is bad. So how to fix this? By the way, I also have a color plus right over here for the random color. And yes, let's take a look at the observable objects, and then I'm going to show you how to fix all of this. So we have this observable and the observable object. Text, count, super simple. Now, how to fix this? The main problem right over here is that we are having this environment injected right over here. Now, I do want to have that because we have a ton of possibilities with it. It's really flexible. So I'm not going to change that. And even if you just bind it, it's just going to be the same thing. The problem is that we have right over here one bindable, which is containing the count, and also we are listening to the onChange of the count, and we're also binding it right over here. So they're kind of interconnected, they're not isolated, and therefore the background will just change. Now, one way of solving this problem is to isolate each and every property in your observable. Same goes for the observable object. But that is a pain. You are going to create for each and every variable a new observable. That's not maintainable. And also in memory terms, it's a huge spike. So what to do instead? You need to actually isolate it. Now, what I've done, it's a little bit complicated, but you can take a look at it. Let me just go and take a look at ScopeView. It's a Swift package, so you can just add it to your project. And I have a nice README, go ahead and check that out. But anyway, today I'm going to show you how you can integrate it. All of this is in the ScopeKit demo. There is a starter project, what we have right over here currently, and then the finished one. Once we finished, I'm just going to commit and push right over there. Okay, and don't forget Rebeloper.com if you want to meet me on a one-on-one Zoom call. You can just book your call right over here. Okay, coming back to our issue. So first thing first, we want to install our Swift package. So we're just going to copy that and then select our project, package dependencies, click on the plus button over here, and let's add that link. And I just wait for this to load, and hopefully it will do this quite quickly. Okay, so for some unknown reason, maybe GitHub is down, it's not going to fetch it, but you should do that. What I'm going to do instead is just add as local, and let's just go ahead and add that package. It's just going to be basically the same thing, but I'm just doing it locally. You are going to do it from GitHub. Okay, so now that we have our Swift package inside our project, what we want to do is just go ahead and check it out. I already have my notes right over here. So what does this view do? Let's just have a little bit more space. So basically we have the same iteration. We have our observable view, observable object view, and we are going to add some code right over here, the button and the text field. And as you can see, the random color is also already added right over here. So first things first, we want to import ScopeKit. There we go. And we already have our state object set up and injected as an environment and environment object. Okay, so that thing's done. Next up is to create our button. So what I'm going to do is just copy out the existing button right over here. So we have a little bit more time for explanation, and just going to paste it right over here. Okay, so we have this view model, and we're just going to do the count. Now, how can we, scope it into its own container? That would be the whole idea, not to be in multiple places, just in its own container. Well, if you imported not SceneKit, ScopeKit, there we go. If you imported it, then you have something called ScopeView. And as you can see, there is one for the observable version and one for the observable object version. This is the observable, and this is one for the observable object version. So we have to choose that one for the scope view. What we need to add in first, let's have a little bit more space over here. There we go. So first thing that we need to add is actually the type of observable that we are providing. We don't have to set environment. We don't have to use the binding. All of that is under the hood. What we need to do is just set the type observable view model dot set. And then comes the actual content. So I hit return right over here. And you will see two objects coming back. Now, the first one is the view model, the actual view model that we can now use right over here inside the code. And the second one is actually a projected value, which you are going to use with our text field. Basically, with the view model, you can grab the values, and with the projected value, you will be able to bind those values too. So I'm just going to go with an underscore right over here because we don't need that. So let me just copy and paste that over there. And hopefully the preview will re-render shortly. Let's just build that. And yeah, basically that's it. We have our observable. And now let's try tapping on it. As you can see, nothing on the background changes because it's scoped. It's inside the scope view. Now let's just add also our text field right over here. There we go. Let me just copy that out and then paste it in there. We don't have view model again available, so we are just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use the scope view model. There we go. And it's the same thing. Now, I did not actually create a new view model, and this should be, yeah, a view model. Yeah, I'm just going to have projected value named as view model, but anyway, that's our view model. We can access it as a binding. Let's just see. Let's see. It should be projected and then projected. I will just change it anyway. Oh, we don't need the dollar sign now because it is a projected value. And now everything looks okay. Now, again, checking on the button, and also now let's check on the text field. As you can see, it's updating the button's text, the label, but it's not affecting our background color, which is amazing. This is what we wanted to have. And again, please note that this is only one view model. We did not create different ones for the text nor the count. It's the same view model used again and again. Okay, so one other thing that we had on the bad content view is this onChange, right? So whenever we listened to the changes on the count, when we tapped on it, it just again triggered a re-render on the background, on the whole view, and therefore the background had a new random color. So what we are going to do is just add that onChange. And I'm just going to take it even further. I'm not just going to add it onto the button right over here, because that would mean that we are inside the scope view, right? So that would kind of be cheating because we are already in the scope view. I'm going to add it outside of any scope view. So you can use it anywhere. I'm just going to prove it that you can use it anywhere. There will be, if you imported ScopeKit, a new view modifier. It's called onChange. Again, so onChange, same thing, but there is this one with in. onChange off, in, and then perform. It's totally different than the other ones. Those are coming from SwiftUI. This is coming from ScopeKit. So let's just add that, and let's talk about what we have over here. So onChange off, what are we listening? In what type of view model are we listening on, and then perform whatever we want to. So first of all, what we want to add is what type. So that will be the observable view model, and then self. So now we know what type it is. Therefore, we can just use a backward slash and a dot, and then we could just type out count. We are just accessing it from observable view model, and then perform. Let's hit return over there. We have an old value and we have a new value, and then we can do whatever we'd like. Let me just see what I added. Let's just print it out. Print, and then let's just say count changed from old value to new value. Great. So let me just open this up so we can see. Yeah, I'm just going to clean all of this up, and then let's just tap on it. As you can see, did tap observable, so the button was tapped, and then count changed from 0 to 1. Okay, that's it. Count changed from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and so on. And please note, nothing re-rendered, which is amazing. Okay, so the other one, I'm really short on time, but basically it's the same thing. And also make sure that on here we have onChange off. That's great. But there, and we have that with the observable object and all of that stuff. But we also have onReceive, which means that onChange off is just looking out for changes, like from 0 to 1, 1 to 2. But if we added 1 and then we give it 1 again and then 1 again, onChange off will not be triggered and will never be triggered with observable view. That's because of how the nature of the observable macro is. But with observable object, we can indeed listen to received values, even if they are the same. Go ahead and check out the final project. I will just update this after I stop this recording, but it will be right over here in the ScopeKit demo. And by the way, it's already, the whole explanation is right over here in the README file of the ScopeKit Swift package. There it is, onReceive, and we have this nice example right over here. So make sure that you use this one. It solves all of the problems that we had previously with published variables and observable object, and also a tiny little bit of problem that is kind of built into observable. And if you like these types of tutorials, go ahead and also check out my mentoring session at rebeloper.com.